So Dana White said Colby Covington has next. That's what we're going to talk about. Colby Covington has next. No more built-in excuses. We gave you 6 weeks notice. Whoever wins, Colby fights next. So Dana White was pretty much straight on point. No eating around the bush. No making excuses. Oh, I don't know. This is not the right time. What's it called? I don't really like to talk about things, too far in the future. No, he just said Colby Covington has next. And wow, so we already know whoever wins on Saturday between Usman versus Masvidal, no matter what, I mean, regardless if we have a new champion or not, Covington got next. And honestly, I'm actually okay with it due to the fact that it's like, if Usman wins, all right, that pretty much ensures that Masvidal may never get a title shot again, all right? Which that could be a separate topic for either later in this video or for another video, all right? But what I can say is that, hey, Colby Covington has to be one of the biggest winners of this weekend, and the weekend hasn't even officially started, okay? I would say that Covington now is going to be prepping and training. He's going to have his eyes glued onto the TV on Saturday. Plus, he came out with a killer tweet, all right, saying that he was chilling with Jorge Masvidal's ex-wife. Oof, that was a 10-8 round, Colby. Why would you do that, man? Why would you do that? I mean, you're just asking for all the smoke when it comes to Masvidal. Masvidal has said it doesn't matter if they're in Whole Foods or not. I know he said that with Ben, but I know he's going to say the same thing with Colby Covington. He will piece him up, 3-piece in a soda. Wow. So then it makes me question. It's like, Gilbert Burns versus Wonderboy Thompson. That's going to happen on International Fight Week, July 10th. That's going to be most likely the co-main event for Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor Part 3, the trilogy. And then we also have next month Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards in a co-main event as well too. But this one's going to be 5 rounds. So it makes you question. So what is the real purpose of having those 2 fights if you're going to go flat out and say Colby Covington is next? Now, I kind of agree with Gilbert Burns. He ended up saying an expletive. He was like, bleep that. If you want to use the imaginations and stuff like that, can't curse. YouTube is going to monetize me. But I will say that, hey, it makes you wonder. It's like, wow, you will go to all those, loopholes just to get Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards. And then you have a killer of a fight of Wonderboy versus Gilbert Burns, which that might be one of my favorite fights that has been scheduled so far this year that has not happened. Really looking forward to that fight. I think that's a phenomenal fight. But Colby Covington is now the number 1 contender, regardless of who wins, whether it's Masvidal or Usman. Either way you put it, they both have huge storylines. So we could go with Usman, right? Since they recently have fought back in the ending of 2019. They have that rivalry, the bitterness, Marty fake snoozman. And honestly, a lot of words exchanged back and forth, right? That infamous, trash talk in Newark, New Jersey after Colby Covington beat Robbie Lawler and dominated him for 5 rounds. All right. That resonates in my mind when they have both fought each other. And then Covington, after the fight, goes up to the press box, and there's so much security trying to stand in between Usman and Covington. And then for that fight to happen in December, one of the greatest fights I've ever seen with Covington and Usman. If that fight happens, obviously pay-per-view numbers are going to go way higher than what they were when they fought each other at UFC 245, because we did not imagine, Usman and Covington to handle that fight the way it is. All right. And then we also have the storyline between Masvidal and Covington. Both, friends at one point in their careers. They were best friends, if you can say that. And now they're bitter rivals. You can use that storyline. It's like kind of like a WWE storyline, best friends now turn into enemies, and they can't stand each other, and it's a bitter rivalry. And like, I certainly do feel that if Masvidal does win, that storyline now gets heightened, right? You could put the storyline of, look, best friends turn into bitter enemies. Covington went to go fight for the title, lost to Usman. Masvidal fights Usman for the second time, is able to win, and now you could build it off that Covington is coming for the strap. He's here to take the belt from his former best friend and to reign in on top. And it sounds like a WWE storyline, something that WWE might be able to script for you. But I think that's the direction that the UFC kind of wants to go. Reason why I say that is because as good of a person that Kamaru Usman is, I certainly do feel like Kamaru Usman is bad for business. And the reason why I say that is because, look, the numbers don't lie, guys. They don't lie. Usman, look how many times there has to be 3 title fights on a card, that he's fighting on, all right? That February card, I can't remember the number exactly, when he fought Gilbert Burns, that was the one time that Kamaru Usman had fought while he has been champion, where there has been no other champion on the card, all right? When he fought for the title against Tyron Woodley, the main event was Anthony Smith versus John Jones, all right? They were the co-main event. Usman makes his first title defense against Colby Covington. Who's on the card? Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. Co-main event, Amanda Nunes versus Jareen Durandamy, all right? 3 title fights, all right? And that's on his first title defense, all right? Second title defense. Now you're facing Jorge Gamber and Masvidal, all right? That's the main event. What's on the co-main event, all right? You have Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. Then when you have as your third title fight, yes, you have 3 title fights, right? On that international fight, which was a good card outside of the main event. What was that third title fight? It was a vacant bantamweight title fight between Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo. All right, and then obviously a fourth title fight was against Gilbert Burns, which I just said that there was no other title fight on that card. All right, so it just shows you that you need to put so many title fights on a card when Kamaru Usman does fight to generate some type of build. The reason why he's getting a little bit more traction is because you have Masvidal on that card, and Masvidal is one of the biggest stars in the UFC. Maybe outside of Conor McGregor, maybe outside of Nate Diaz. Okay, he has that traction. I mean, today's press conference, Chad Ochocinco, right? Chad Johnson, one of the more famous wide receivers in the NFL that has played, was having a good time with Masvidal, right? Masvidal's on First Take. He's on Get Up. He's on ESPN. He's on all these major outlets, right? Usman, right? Only reason why he's getting all this attention is because he's a champ. If he wasn't the champ, he wouldn't be getting this attention. Masvidal's getting a lot of this attention before he even fought Usman, right? When he fought Nate Diaz and for that Madison Square Garden card. So that's why I say that Usman is bad for business, guys. He's, I surely do believe that Dana White put Colby Covington out there because of the fact that whichever way this fight goes, then at least that next fight is going to be a killer of a card, because you have a huge storyline with either Masvidal being the champ or Usman being the champ. Either way, Covington versus either one of those guys is going to sell a whole bunch of tickets, right? Because Covington does have huge personal beef. But I gotta say, the biggest losers of this has to be Leon Edwards, Wonderboy Thompson, and Gilbert Burns. Until then, guys, look, that's my take on everything that has transpired, what Dana White has said. And look, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. So then, please hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you for tuning in to Flop Oriana's MMA show. I'm your host, Flop Oriana, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, guys. Have a good one.